There we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Toffee Blues, and welcome to I believe it's the match review talk, where basically we're going to talk about the 3-0 win against Leeds at Goodison Park yesterday. It was a really good game. I think it's one of the best performances I've seen from Everton in a long time. I think we really took it to Leeds. I think I should be joined by Paul any minute now, so there will be another one of us here. But until Paul gets here, I want to know what the people in the chat's thoughts were the game. Who you thought the best players were. Players like Donny van der Beek, Alex Iwobi, really impressed. You all right, Owen, mate? So yeah, I just want to know what everyone's thoughts on the game were going into it. Who you think your best player was, what you expect to see after this performance. The atmosphere at the ground was fantastic. I think Goodison Park was. If we can get Goodison Park like that, once again, it can be a real fortress. But until Paul gets here, I just want to know what everyone's thoughts on the game are, and then we'll get rolling how we usually do. Matty, my man of the match was. I'm stuck between Donny and Iwobi, to be honest with you, but I'll give it to Donny. I think Van der Beek was fantastic. I think he looked really assured in that midfield. And for someone who's not been here for very long at all, he came in and instantly looked like he'd been here for a while. I think it's shocking that Man United have let him go out on loan. I really do. I think Man United are crazy to let him go out on loan. I think if he plays like that for us for the rest of the season, he's definitely a better midfielder than Fred and McTominay. So I have no idea why he isn't playing for United. But I'm not going to complain. But I also, I think you'll hear it later on from when me and Paul are on that. Alex Iwobi really impressed in that game. I think if we can see more of that from Iwobi in that free roaming role where he was getting back and defending, and he was also helping link the play up, I think he was fantastic. And I think, if we can get Iwobi like that for the rest of the season, then you could see Iwobi as a consistent starter for Everton. But this is only one game. I don't want to get too excited off of one game, but it's a really important win. We've dragged Leeds kind of in the fight with us, and especially that win was even more important with Newcastle picking up a big win against Villa today. Another Trippier free kick. But I think going into our next game, it's Southampton away, I believe. But to keep talking about this one, I think we were in control for a long part of the game. I think another player who really impressed was Jonjoe Kenny. I think Kenny surprised all of us. I think we can all say that Kenny looked really assured at left back. For someone who, is a right footer, I think he looked quite comfortable when he had to play that ball in. I think he played a few crosses that were really good. Just a few, centimetres off making it to the player he wanted. He marked Rafinha out of the game completely. I think there's so much to unpack from that game, I think. I think there's so much we could look at and say, this is what Everton need to be under Frank Lampard. Without players like Damari Gray, Michaelenko and players like that, Yerry Mina, we've proved that we can perform against teams, and it is all about, performing against the teams who are in and around us in the table. I know we've still got to play Burnley. I think that's one of our postponed games. I think one of our games against Newcastle got postponed. So, I know Newcastle have beat us once, but if we can beat both of them teams, there you go. A win against Southampton as well in the future, then all of a sudden maybe things are looking a bit better for us with Leeds' fixture list. But yeah, just drop in the chat if you want any opinions, if you want any questions on what I thought of the game, and we'll talk about that. But, I think if we go from front to back, really, we'll do that. I don't know if anyone else agrees with me here, but I think Calvert-Lewin had quite a good game. I think besides the fact that he didn't score, I think his hold-up play he looked a lot more comfortable in hold-up play. I think he's always been quite a good hold-up player, but I think he looked really comfortable in playing that role, linking everyone else together. And even though he may not have scored, I think, you're really seeing Calvert-Lewin improve as an all-round player, getting to, pick the ball up, play it out to the wide players, play it out to players like Richarlison, and yeah, I think Matty's put something here that's very interesting while I talk about Calvert-Lewin about Paul Clement. I think Paul Clement has instantly improved us on set pieces. Because it's weird, because we've always had players that are good from set pieces. Calvert-Lewin, Mina, Keane, even players like Holgate are, really good at set pieces. And I think, it quite surprises me how quickly it turned around. I did think it may take some time to turn around, even with a decent set piece coach. But, you know, I think Clement's done a fantastic job. We've scored from a set piece once again. But, you know, we've got, if we go on to that, I think we'll speak about Clement a lot more going further and further along the line, because I think Everton are looking really dangerous from set pieces once again. You know, Irwin here, but Dom's still not 100%, but I think the goals will come. Something similar here from Philip. You know, I think the thing is with Dom is we need someone who can score the goals, but at the same time, a Calvert-Lewin who can do everything to a good standard is a better Calvert-Lewin than just the goal-poaching Calvert-Lewin, target man Calvert-Lewin that we had. I think his passing looked great. I think he was fighting for every ball. I think, you know, I think if he was a bit more match fit, he would have scored. I do think, you know, there was a few corners where a few crosses or a few situations where he was just short. I think he did look desperate for a goal as well. I do think there are a few moments where he could have played it out wide to someone else and created a better chance. But obviously, I think he wants that goal in front of a rabid Goodison Park, and it's understandable. You know, we won 3-0. Calvert-Lewin wanted to get involved in that. I think, you know, that front three was really good. And, you know, I think it's quite difficult because I can't imagine any of those getting dropped, even when Demarai Gray returns. So I think that'd mean Demarai Gray would take the role Alex Iwobi plays. But at the same time, then if Alex Iwobi keeps performing at this level, then how difficult is it going to get after that? I think this is a blessing in a sense for Everton, because we've never looked at this and gone, well, look, Iwobi's a good option and Demarai Gray is a good option. I'm not saying Iwobi is the standout, and I still think we 100% have to start Demarai Gray. But now I think you see that Alex Iwobi's game can evolve under Frank Lampard, and he can perform under Frank Lampard, and I think it makes our situation a lot easier. You know, even Solomon Rondon almost scored. I think as well. I think Dele Alli, when he came on, looked a lot more assured. I think Dele Alli played that amazing ball into Rondon, and I thought Rondon was going to score. But, you know, Frank Lampard's not a complete miracle worker getting Rondon to score. I think that's when I think if Rondon can score under Lampard, that's when we start dreaming of Champions League at that point. But Irwin puts here, Alan was a machine. Decore to come back as well. Midfield options are strong. I think you're definitely correct. I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know if he's going to stick with the 3-4-3 that can transition into the 4-4-2. I think that's a really good option. I think the idea of the 3-4-3 works because we can move it around quite a lot. And, you know, we're getting results under it. We changed quite early, so I can see Lamps moving to a 4 at the back with how effective we were. But Alan under Lampard has been amazing. You know, he's given this role to sit in front of the defence, which then allows players like Donny and Iwobi to fly forward. And, you know, I think the blueprint's there. Sorry, lads. You know, it's like Wormy puts here, I'm happy about the win, but not getting carried away until we play better opposition. And to be honest with you, I think Southampton is a good level of opposition with the results they're getting recently to test it. You know, I think the away support's always good, so we don't have to worry about the away support. I think, you know, we've got one of the best away supports in the league. They're always shouting, always going mental. You know, I love watching Everton away games because of the away support. I think we really do have a fantastic away support, you know. But I think one thing that resonates with all of us, and it's something Philip put here, you know, something that we all noticed was the atmosphere, how happy everyone seemed to be at Goodison Park, how happy the players were. You know, you had Tom Davies taking pictures with the fans. You had, you know, the video of Iwobi hugging Lampard after the game. Goodison Park, I can't remember the last time it was that loud, to be honest with you. You know, when we spoke about it on the channel and we said that you need Goodison to be a fortress again if we want to survive this relegation battle, I still think not even any of us expected that. You know, I think we expected Goodison to be loud, but that was ridiculous. That's one of the best atmospheres I've seen in a very long time. And I think it's quite surprising in a sense, because I think a lot of the fan base, you know, me included at times, have had these feelings that, you know, of disconnect with the club. But I think under Lampard, it's already started resonating that, you know, this is maybe something different for the first time. And I don't want to jinx it, because I think there's been a few moments where I thought, you know, Carlo being one, you know, where we really thought this may be something different. And, you know, it's like semi-puts. I don't think we're out of the woods yet. I don't think we're guaranteed survival. But I think this is the first step in, a line of steps to say, a staircase of steps, I could say, to survival and maybe even something better than survival. I just think we need to stick to this style of play that Lampard had us playing against Leeds, even against the bigger teams, in my opinion. Might be a controversial opinion, but I think if you press a big team like that, even Man City, the goal of that game was to force mistakes. And, Matty puts here, we'll lose games playing the high line, high press attacking football, but we'll win games as well. And I think that's the thing, is we need to be winning games. And, I think it will catch us eventually. Like I said, I don't think we've got the complete personnel for it yet. I think the centre-backs need to be better. I think we need more athletic centre-backs to really catch teams with this high line. But I also think even against a team like Man City, I'm not saying push the line up as forward as we were, but having the midfielders and the forwards constantly putting pressure on a team like Man City can force mistakes. And the thing is, if you can force mistakes against Man City, you can force mistakes against any teams. I'm not getting my hopes up for that because I know what Everton are like. I know what we can do. But I think looking at the Leeds game as a whole, it gave us a blueprint of what this team can be at its best. I really think it shows us what, a team full of hard workers with a fan base behind them can really do, and a manager who really believes in himself. Because I think that's the thing about Frank Lampard that sets him apart is, he really believes in himself as a coach, and he believes, every manager gets sacked. It's a thing. It happens to everyone. You have to be a real top manager to never get sacked. I'm thinking you Pep Guardiola's, Alex Ferguson's, because I think I don't know if Klopp got sacked. I don't think he's probably been sacked early on in his career, but, I think you look at the top managers and, I think they're the only ones you see not getting sacked from jobs. So I think it's a situation where the entire team believes in themselves. And I think that's what you need to survive. You look at another team like Newcastle, who are starting to echo that now, is that self-belief that they're good enough to stay up. And that if they stay up, they can really push on. Erwin here plus Anthony Gordon was a real star yesterday. I don't know if I can get the exact statistics up, but they were on Twitter. A lot of people were putting things up about how good he was. A goal and assist. Yeah, the goal was a rebound off him, but the lad was in the position to get it, so I'm not going to complain. I think it was a real star-making performance in the sense that that might have been the performance that I've started to make other fans look at him and go, yeah, that kid's going to be a star. And I said it on my Twitter. He's one of the best young players in the league, and I think the only reason he doesn't get that same recognition as some other young players is because he plays for us. I think he looks completely assured. He looks so comfortable in that Everton lineup. It looks like he's been in it for years with how comfortable he is. He's, 20, 21, and I think he's already probably one of our star players. I think out of that entire front three, he was the standout. I think he, if Donny and Iwobi didn't have such a good game, he would have easily been man of the match. But it's different, isn't it? It's weird for us to come on to one of these post matches after the season we've had and say there's not really any negatives. I can't really think of any. If someone wants to put one in the chat, I can't really think of many negatives. There probably were some, but, I think it's one of those first performances I've seen in a long time where probably maybe since the 4-0 City, where I've watched and gone, everything's gone right in that game, Everything went perfect. Here you go. We've got it here. This was Anthony Gordon yesterday. 1 goal, 1 assist, 2 key passes, 5 shots, won all of his tackles, won 8 duels and 6 ball recoveries. It shows it. That stat line sums up Anthony Gordon, really. He's creatively excellent, but he's a hard worker too. And I think, when I said it a while ago that since Wayne Rooney, so this isn't a comparison to Wayne Rooney, Anthony Gordon's the best thing this academy has produced. I think, especially when it comes to getting into the first team and producing at a first team level, Philip puts here, Gordon's going to be a top class footballer. We need to make sure his contract ties him to us, and I think we will. I think Gordon's a blue at heart. I think he loves the club, and that doesn't make me sit and say Gordon's going to stay forever. But at the same time, I think it'd take a lot to pry him away. I think it'd be a situation where it's our own incompetence is what makes us lose him, and not that another club's come in. If I think of where we're going to go after this, I'm not trying to get my hopes up massively. Southampton is a really tough game. I think that they'll they'll be very difficult. I think you showed against their last two performances, a big win against Spurs and a draw with Man United. I think they're a very difficult game, but obviously the point we're here is to talk about the Leeds game. And I think, with the Leeds game, it's this idea that a lot of us went into this game probably quite negative. Leeds play very good football usually. Rafinha has caused us trouble every time the fellas played against us. It really surprised me when we went into this and that Jonjoe Kenny just absolutely annihilated him for most of the game. It made it look easy, but I'm trying to look at things like to get you a summary of the game, but things like Sofa score and stuff, but then I've just checked Sofa score and seen that Donny van der Beek has got a 6.6 and so did Alan, so instantly I'm not paying attention to that. I just want the stats of the game. But we had 21 shots, 10 on target, 5 corners. We were only offside once. We did, and we still missed 3 big chances. That's the thing. We still missed 3 big chances and won 3-0. I think it kind of sums up what we can do, 11 shots inside the box. When do Everton ever get 11 shots inside the box? And, especially considering if I look at Calvert-Lewin over here, Calvert-Lewin only took, I can't imagine he took a lot of those shots. Calvert-Lewin's usually our main source, but it's the idea that everyone was contributing in attack. And, Matty puts here, we might have found Jonjoe Kenny's perfect position. It's a possibility. I think Jonjoe's definitely put himself in consideration for that starting spot now. But I also, a lot of fans probably agree with me that I don't want to just instantly assume now that that's it. This is a guaranteed starting lineup. I also, can we beat Southampton 9-0 next week, maybe? Well, it is a yearly tradition at the rate it's going at. So, it's not out of this world that we beat them 9-0, but no, I expect the game against Southampton to be very scrappy and, a game where we're clawing for it. But, I think everyone performed. As I said, I've got the lineup here so we can talk about them. Richarlison, probably one of Richarlison's better games, but I think, he was putting the work in defensively. He was doing what Richarlison does. You would kind of expect these things from Richarlison now. Like I said, Dominic Calvert-Lewin's hold-up play was fantastic. I think he really brought it. I think Calvert-Lewin's hold-up play brought everyone else into the game in a much better way. I think if his hold-up play wasn't that good, we wouldn't have seen as good of performances from players like Gordon, Iwobi, Don van der Beek. I think that is a real performance for Calvert-Lewin to look at in a sense that he doesn't have to just score goals for us. He can do a bit of everything now, and I think that's something we need, especially since, if we can get Richarlison scoring, Gordon scoring, Damari Gray when he's back scoring, I don't know when. Why not Gordon to get to, DCL to get to, Richie to get to, Michaelenko, Van der Beek, and Dele to score? It's not out of the question, but I see it being very, very scrappy, especially with the form Southampton are on right now. But, let's move down now to, we spoke about Anthony Gordon. Let's see if we can go in detail about Mr. Alex Iwobi here. So Iwobi played this is only the 3rd time, I'm correct, that he's played the full 90 minutes this season. I might be wrong there. I believe it is only the 3rd time he's played a full 90. He had 85% passing completion. The guy played 5 key passes. Alex Iwobi, the guy who we've all spent most of our time saying has no end product, can't play the final pass, played 5 key passes. Is Lampard a miracle worker? Possibly. Is Iwobi now trying to prove himself to the fans? Possibly. But I don't think I'm wrong in saying this is Alex Iwobi's best game as a Everton player. I think that's comfortable. It's one of the best games the fella's probably had in his career. I think Alex Iwobi was fantastic. I can't say a single bad thing about him besides that yellow card where he tried to kill that young lad from Leeds and just went in on him. But also, you could see that as a good thing. Instead of, just diving for the ball and missing, he lost the ball. I think he won it, lost it, and then went and got the ball, tried to get the ball back. So, it's everyone had a lot of passion. Iwobi with 3 tackles, an interception, a block shot. He was fouled twice. He only completed 1 out of 5 dribble attempts, but I'm not going to sit here and slander Iwobi for something that little for the actual game he had, for how good he was. I'm not going to pick out one little thing and say he could improve on that, because the guy was fantastic, and me just doing that is just nitpicking at that point. We move on. Next player was Alan. I think Alan was fantastic. I think Alan, to put it simply, I don't see Van der Beek having the game he had if Alan wasn't beside him that game. I think Alan freed up Van der Beek so much, where you saw all the positives from Van der Beek, because Alan was the one doing the dirty work, the work not many people may talk about in winning the ball, recycling possession. I think it's really something to look at. I'm trying to scroll down here to tell you how many tackles and everything he got, but here you go. He had 3 interceptions, 1 clearance, 1 tackle. He didn't succeed at dribble, but it's the idea of what Alan did, everything screening in front of the defense, that made us tick. And, Alan did everything that made this man, Donny van der Beek, tick. For a full 90 debut, people can get it in the chat. That's one of the best full 90 debuts I've seen in a while from a player. If you can smash some players in the chat who you think of, but from a midfielder especially, it's been a long time since I've seen a midfielder in his first full 90 for Everton look that confident in an Everton shirt and, looks that good in what he did. I think he did a fantastic job. I can't say anything bad about the lad. It's his first game, and he looks like a seasoned professional. He looks like a top-class midfielder. And it's the situation now again at Everton where it looks like it's been 1 game and we're already looking at it and going, oh no, Donny, you're going to leave in the summer, aren't you? Now we're all sitting here praying that when he goes back to United, Van der Beek throws a strop and says, I don't want to be here, I'm not staying here. But Van der Beek was fantastic all around. I believe he won. I think overall he won 7 duels, 4 ground and 3 aerial, 4 tackles, 1 interception. The lad were getting really stuck in, which is something that I think is really going to endear him to the Everton fans. Endeared him to me, is that even if he did lose the ball, and he barely lost it, I think, he looked so comfortable on the ball. I think look at a midfielder, and I think our problem's always been, I think it was the situation. We've always looked at a midfielder. We need someone who's comfortable on the ball. And I think Andre Gomez on his good games can be that, but I also don't think you get that much from Gomez. I think he's an inconsistent lad. I think he's played well under his time so far under Lampard, but I also think that, he's not the player that Donny is. Donny looks like he can do everything. A complete midfielder, something Everton haven't had in a long time. Then we move on. We don't have to speak much about Anthony Gordon. A goal, assist, ran the game, made Leeds players look like mugs time and time again, fought for every ball. Won it on quite a lot of occasions too, Van der Beek wants top-class football. Why would he want to play for United? Well, if we get a result against Southampton, we can then go, look, Donny, at least we can get results against Southampton. But I think we would have to see how Donny does for the rest of the season. I think Man United may look to try make profit on him, or they'll look for a similar amount. I don't think I could see Man United wanting to lose money on him. But listen, if Van der Beek's massively consistent for 6 months, it may be worth paying the money. But at the same time, we've seen Andre Gomez, but I also think the Andre Gomez situation is it's hard to judge completely because of the leg breaks. I think it's quite hard. Before I move on to the defense, let me get into some of the comments here. Let me scroll up a little bit. We've got here, Van der Beek reminds me of Thomas Gravesen. He was a class player. I'm going back a bit here. Yeah, I think I wasn't watching Everton consistently with knowledge back when Gravison played for us, to be honest with you. I think the comparison's good from what I've seen of Gravison, but like I said, that's a bit before my time. I think I was 5 or 6. So you're pushing me back there to a point where I might not remember everything. But from everything I've heard about Carsley, Gravison, and those older players, it's quite the comparison to get. But, we scroll back up here. If I find... 1 second. If I scroll up and find Inky's comment, because I did see that, it was, Callum, what would your ideal lineup and bench be versus Southampton? Should Michael, Patterson, and Gray start again? You look at the style of team Southampton are, I think they're quite similar to Leeds, but in a better capacity, especially this season. I think Southampton are quite similar to Leeds, but do it a lot better than Leeds do. I think it's quite difficult to give you a assured lineup. I think if Damari Gray is fit enough, well, he's fully fit and completely fit, then he should start. But at the same time, does Alex Iwobi deserve to be dropped after that performance? I think it's quite difficult. If I look at it, I think it may be a good idea to stick with this 4-4-2. It offers you 2 banks. It offers you good defensive security. I think it also helps for playing a high line. I think, the players are much closer together. It's you won't see us lose the ball as much as we did against Newcastle in this 4-4-2 because the players are much closer together and much more compact with each other. Squatter puts here, I think, to go on with what you're saying, Inky, that says here, hard to change a winning team, but Gray has to start if he's fit, offers us something no one else does. And to be honest with you, I would see Damari Gray starting on that side. He will be played on that right-hand side, or Gordon playing on that right-hand side, and Gray on the left. But it may be a thing where Gray even plays 45 minutes at half-time, plays 30 minutes in the 60th. But I think it is quite difficult to give you. But I think I'll go Pickford again. Like I said, I'm never going to say Begovic. The guy decent, but I'd never pick Begovic over him. I'd never pick Begovic over Pickford. Coleman, I don't. My thing is with Seamus Coleman is, am I going to say Michaelenko? Am I going to say Patterson because of Seamus Coleman's old? He shouldn't be starting for Everton anymore. The guy's had a few good games for us now consecutively, and I just don't see the point in dropping the fella if he's going to keep performing. I know it may be a thing where we take him off for Patterson, we take him off for someone like Michaelenko and move Kenny to the right-hand side. But I don't know. I think right back is quite up for it. I think it is between Coleman and Kenny. I don't think Patterson's going. I think Frank's trying to bed him in, and I think Irwin's here is right. I 100% think we see Patterson against Boreham Wood. I think that's where we see a few of these players like Dobbin, Patterson, come into their own maybe and get a start. Centre backs, I think you have to go Holgate Keane again, really. We might see Jared Bramthwaite. It might, it could be Pickford, Kenny, Keane, Michaelenko. Ooh, I'll say that is quite risky, Inky. I've just read that. I think you go Holgate Keane again. I don't think we have any other options, and I think we could see. We could see Bramthwaite start, but against a team like Southampton, I think Lampard will stick with Keane and Holgate. But as I've said, we definitely need a centre back who fits this ball playing Frank Lampard system a lot more in the summer. But I feel like that's something we'll talk about more when we get there. John Joe. I think John Joe's going to start again at left back. I don't see, even if Michaelenko's fit, I don't see why you drop Kenny after that performance. I think Michaelenko had some solid performances, especially against, I think he played against Brentford. Yeah, against Brentford. But I think he'll start John Joe again after that performance. But like I said, I think it's either going to be Coleman, Kenny again, or it's going to be Kenny, Michaelenko. I think it's quite difficult, you know what I mean? After that performances, I'm trying to look at it and not say that I'm not trying to let the idea that it's just one performance stick my lineup to what it was. But I think left midfield, I'll say Damari Gray. I think Damari Gray play on the left. Then I think it's Van der Beek, Alan again in the middle. And then I'd say it'll be Gordon on the right. I think it is hard to not give Alex Iwobi another chance in the starting lineup after how well he played. But I also think it's like squat or put. You can't drop Damari Gray after that performance. You can't drop Damari Gray after his performances this season based off one Alex Iwobi performance. It may be possible that Gray can't complete the full 90, so we see Iwobi with a 30-35 minute cameo. And then up front, I see it being Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin again. You know, people are saying that Calvert-Lewin didn't look up to 100%. But I also think he did a good performance in getting everyone else involved. So I think dropping him is just... It might not be the best of ideas. I also wouldn't be completely against him being dropped for someone like Damari Gray. So it's difficult what to say, but I see it very much being Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin leading the line again for us. And then, we'll have names like Iwobi, Dele Alli off the bench, Kenny / Michaelenko off the bench, Gomez, I think, will be on the bench, Townsend on the bench, players like Brampwell on the bench. I think the best part about this Frank lineup is that there's actual quality on the bench now. We don't look at the bench and go, oh, there's about 7 youngsters, or Solomon Rondon is on the bench, which I don't think that's changing. I think Rondon will always be the one on the bench, and I think he's preferred over Cenk Tosun. Even though I don't know how he missed that chance from the Dele Alli cross, but I'm not surprised. So I think that'd be my lineup going into Southampton. Obviously, unless something changes going into the game, but I think keep a winning side not completely the same. But I also think the idea of keeping a lot of that core together would be a good idea. Then with Damari Gray instead of Alex Iwobi, even though Iwobi was fantastic. El Ghazi's the other name, Inky, that I was thinking of then. I think he looked decent when he came on. I think El Ghazi's a decent player, especially off the bench. I don't know why he's saying El Ghazi wasn't on. Oh no, there he is. I thought he was saying El Ghazi wasn't on the bench, but I think El Ghazi is one of those players that may be suited to coming off the bench more for one of those moments of magic, moments of technical quality. I think that's where he's suited best, in my opinion. So I think going into Southampton, that's what I'd pick. But just looking at the Leeds game in general, I think it's a really positive start for Everton. I think the loss to Newcastle was dampening, but I also think we can see by today's game that Newcastle are starting to get on a run. And now it's time for us to start matching that and get on a run ourselves. A win against Southampton would be amazing. I think that... I think it'd be an amazing result. I think it's something we need. I think 2 wins in a row could really help this Everton team. And I think if we would have beat Newcastle, we'd be sitting rosy now and after a win at Southampton, we could be saying, that's it. We might have actually just survived 5 games into Frank's reign. But we're still well and in the fight. I don't know how many points we are off the relegation zone. If I have a look now, I know some people in the chat are going to be loving my, my weekly or whenever I'm on the channel, quick Google check. But we are currently 16th. We have a game in hand on all the teams below, at least a game in hand on every team below us except Burnley. But we are 5 points off the drop, or 5 points off Norwich with 2 games in hand on them. So, and I believe our 2 games in hand are Burnley, Newcastle. So if we can beat both Burnley and Newcastle, it'd be fantastic. We'd be completely out of it, Only a fully evolved El Genga can make an impact. But, Leeds have got a tough result next as well. So, we can beat Southampton, hopefully, or a draw. Inky, I don't think we're 6 points clear, Inky. Am I wrong? No, we've got 22. Norwich have got 17. We're 5 points clear. We're 5 points clear off the drop, I think. Unless Google might be wrong. It's not a Callum stream without a Google check. It isn't, is it? I probably should check these things before, or at least, get the things up before. But then that's getting rid of tradition, isn't it? We can't get rid of tradition on these streams. Inky, wait a minute. I can't share my screen, can we? Wait, it says, am I wrong? The 22. No, it is 5. Inky, you're trying to do me in here, aren't you? It's 5. Norwich have got 17 points. We've got 22. I'm going to check the Premier League website as well. Yeah, 5 points. Thank you. I thought I was going mental then. I thought I fully forgot how to do maths then for a second. 5 points clear of the drop with games in hand. So things are looking good. And, even I'm not trying to get too excited, but you even look at teams like Villa, who we have a game in hand on. We win our game in hand. Then all of a sudden, we're only 2 points behind Villa. Everything's looking rosy. I think the fact that we're in a relegation battle is... Or are we anymore? I think, it's quite difficult. But I also think the gap between 10th and us is only 7 points. It's crazy that the Premier League is this competitive at the lower half. So I think, a few good results all of a sudden fires you up the table. I think 10 or 11 more points might be enough. You stay up onto 32, 33. I think you are right, Jason, but I think we want to be getting 40 points realistically, don't we? I think that's the benchmark. That's the guarantee, really. So I think that's what we need to be looking for. We've got 16 games left, Out of 16, preferably 5 or 6 of those games are wins. That's... let's say we win 6. That's 18 points all of a sudden. So, and then all of a sudden we're up at 40. 5 or 6 wins in the last 16 games. It's not impossible, but I also don't know. We'll have to see how Frank's progression keeps going. But we're getting close to 6 o'clock now, and I am a busy man. So, before I go, everyone, go on, put your score predictions for the Southampton game at what you think right now, before any team news comes out or anything like that. Throw a few score predictions for the Southampton game before we get off on the stream. And just lost 4-0 to City. Yeah, but are we really surprised about that with Norwich? I think it's more Newcastle we need to be worrying about. Jay should be looking for more than 5 or 6 wins. I know we should be looking for more than that, Jay. But I think the idea is 5 or 6 wins should be what guarantees us safety. That's the minimum is kind of the idea for safety is the 40 points. We've got Matty with 1-1, Inky 2-2, Damien says a win. Steve, is that 1-0 to us? I'm going to guess that's 1-0 to us. Erwin 2-1 to us. Damien 3-0 to us. 8-0 Everton get in. Keep the positivity flowing. I think that's it. I think as long as the boys can keep performing, we can keep this positive outlook. And I think, like you said, I think I'll go that Everton might squeak a 2-1 out at Southampton. Because I think the thing is Southampton are on a good run now, but I also think Southampton can just capitulate. I think that they're one of those teams that can just out of nowhere capitulate and play like a relegation candidate team. I think Ralph Scott Hasenhutl's gone good playing good football, but I think Frank Scott was playing good football. So I think it's a mixture of the situations. I think, but yeah, like he puts here, make sure to drop the stream a like for me, please. It's my first solo stream. Please subscribe to the channel. Blues up the Toffees. Fantastic result against Leeds. Hopefully we can keep getting these. Hopefully we're not going down. Hopefully we're staying up. We're winning the cup. I'm not allowed to actually say that because I'll think we'll get in trouble. But yeah, thank you, Owen, for the well done. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed the stream, and I'll see you next time I'm on the channel. Thank you for watching the Toffee Blues, and goodbye, everyone.